Well, you know.
Thank you for doing it.
Oh, please. God. Oh, this is spectacular. You know, I've read about it, but you know, to actually see this, I knew you were a hoarder collector. But this is amazing. Oh man!
So when people come in from here, the first thing they see is the posters. So we got Oakley here, Black Jesus, Earl. These are my guys.
So here it's Spike Lee Creative Sources. The Brooklyn Museum.
Mm-hmm.
You are a
Who would have thunk it?
Well, I was going to say
You
are a son of Brooklyn, and you have a major exhibit in the Brooklyn Museum. Mm-hmm. How does that feel?
It feels great. And here's a story. When people come to my office in Brooklyn, they'll say, "This looks like a museum. You should let people in your office see it." I say, So my office is private. So this is a chance for people to see, the public to see, the people, especially from the Republic of Brooklyn, New York, to see all the stuff I have on my walls, in my homes, in my office, and in storage. And all this stuff is part of people who I've looked up to, not just in sports, just the people here are my pantheon.
Mm-hmm. And, by the way, your mom would bring you here.
Yes.
Growing up.
My mother was, not just me, my siblings too.
Yeah,
so
sure.
my late mother, wanted her children to be well-rounded. And she did a great job. Not just me, all my siblings, you know, are well-educated and immersed in the arts.
So how do you, when you've got a 1,000 piece plus collection spread out, how do you bring that down to 470 or so pieces? How do you make the choice?
Well, I'm gonna be honest. It was a little push and shove to get to that number. All love. But I wanted it to look like my office. I not want to look like a museum where there's something here and something here. It's divided up into sections, but I just wanted to get I don't want to be stingy. Mm-hmm. I want the world to see the stuff.
Why?
Because it needs to be seen. Also, it might give people like a little insight to, where my influences are from, who my heroes or heroines, the pantheon. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of people here are going to do their research, got their phone like, who is this person? Who is this? It's education. It's educational.
And what's interesting about this is that they're movie posters, there's sports memorabilia, but there's kind of politics,
art,
and it's
all my.
I was going to say these are all the parts of Spike Lee.
Yes, and one day they'll go back and look in this exhibition where this fit in with my body of work, narrative and documentaries.
I've been to your house and I've seen a lot of this on the wall, but I had no idea the depth of this. This is less than half of what you've got. When did this start?
Starting when I was a kid in Brooklyn. My friends and I, we would go to the Roosevelt Hotel because that's where the National League teams would stay. So Willie Mays, when the Giants in New York at Shea Stadium, we're at the hotel waiting for Willie to come out. we got the baseball cards. We've got those 3x5 index cards too. Mm-hmm. When the Braves come on, wait, Hank Aaron, where's Hank Aaron? The Pirates, where's Clemente? Where's the Clemente? And also, besides the sports, I collected Marvel comic books. I like DC.
I was more of a DC.
You like Daredevil?
I did like Daredevil. So where did this love of film come from? How did that start?
Well, the plants were planted early. My father hated Hollywood films. Hated them. So I'm the eldest, so I was my mother's movie date. That's how it happened. Now, plants don't grow and bloom right away. So, but you have to plant the seeds.
Sure.
So it was to a college that those seeds came out. But going in the movies, I didn't even know. I just went to the movies. That's it. I didn't think about who's directing, who's writing it. You know, you look at the people on the screen, but not behind the screen. So it wasn't until I was in college, went to Morehouse College, that I had to choose a major. And that major was mass communications, film, print journalism, radio, photography. And Morehouse didn't have that major. I took that major across the street at Clark College. So that's where it started. As
you started to think about this, you know, maybe becoming a director, moving into film, and your dad was a jazz musician.
Yeah.
Did that impact your directing? You know,
It didn't impact my directing, but I just grew up having a great appreciation for jazz.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been reflected in, you know, almost all the films I've done, even the films I did without my father doing the score.
When you do these films, and in the beginning, you were in some of your movies.
Yeah. The only reason I was in She's Gonna Have because we didn't have any money to pay anybody else. But behind us, you see some game-worn Jordans.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the character I played, Mars Blackman, that's how me and Mike got hooked up with commercials that changed the whole game. Michael, Mars, and MJ. So it's funny how things work.
Did you ever think that maybe acting again?
No. I knew the commercials with Sam, Barkley, and Magic, but I knew Mars. I wasn't have to act. Mm-hmm. So Nike's agency, they saw She's Gonna Have It. So it was their vision to pair my character Mars from She's Gonna Have It with the GOAT, Michael Jordan, and it changed everything. You know, Nike went to the stratosphere.
Yeah.
In fact, before really doing the right thing, people only knew me, didn't know who I was, just that crazy guy in the commercial mm-hmm. of Michael Jordan.
Where are we going? What's the future of filmmaking? You know, when you start looking at AI and all this stuff, where are we going?
AI, that's the thing that scares me.
Does it?
I mean, just these stories and novels and movies, it's not science fiction today.
Yeah.
That stuff is here. And as far as the arts go, I just think that it's very dangerous where a soulless, non-human being is thrust into the art world. There's a lot of stuff about copyright, you know, and ownership. I'll just say it's straight up theft.
The posters, the movie posters. Now, of course, they're your movies in there, but
not all of them.
But not all. That's what I was going to say. I think people would be surprised to see how many other movie posters there are. Are those movies that?
There's nothing in this exhibition that does not mean something to me. But I've been lucky. Let me tell you a story. So my films are showed worldwide. So when it comes out, I got to get on a plane. So I was in Rome. I forgot what film it was. And my publicist, I asked my publicist, do you know Fellini? Yeah, I know him. I said, can you call him up, see you at dinner with me? Tonight, come to this restaurant. So for like 4 years in a row, every time I went to Rome, I was having dinner with Fellini. And every time I went, not the first, the other 3 times, I had posters signed. So you see the posters signed to me from Fellini. La Dolce Vita, 8.5, La Strada, signing me from Federico Fellini.
When you're sitting across from Fellini, what?
He was just easy. I mean, he's funny. You had me dying, and we had like that red wine, Italian. We're in Rome, drinking wine, and I'm sitting across the table with Fellini. I'm like, bam.
Scorsese?
Because when you're in film school, because these world cinema, I was introduced to until I was in graduate film school, NYU. But When you see these great films and you're able to know them, and they're signing stuff to you too, I mean, that's like, and they see my films too. You know, it's not I'll give you a line from Scorsese. It's not like I'm some Mama Luke of the year. Mama Luke. No Mama Luke's over here.
Speaking of which, I'm looking at, Kehinde Wiley.
Yes.
This piece is spectacular.
Yeah.
If you had to pick, what's your favorite? Is there a favorite piece of or grouping?
Well, there is. I'm not going to pick one, but
grouping.
The net. One of the nets from Game 7, May 8th, 1970, versus Los Angeles Lakers, the Willis Reed and Walt Frazier game. I got the net from that game. I was there too, 13 years old.
What is sports? Because it's a huge representation here. What does sports, especially New York sports, mean to you?
Well, my father, besides being a great musician, composer, he loved sports. He always would tell us, me and my siblings, how great an athlete he was. So my father was a Dodger fan, like all other black people back then. But I love him. My father was taking me to the Garden, the old Garden, 8th Avenue. Yeah. So that's where my love for the Knicks came from. He was taking me to Knicks games. Like, me and my father were not sitting courtside. We were in the last row.
But you were there.
I was there. So I just think about it. I was sitting in the last row at the Garden, the courtside.
Yeah.
And I got this thing from the Garden. This will be my 33rd or 32nd or 33rd year as a season ticket holder for the Knicks.
When you first walked this, once everything was hung, what were your thoughts on it?
I was thinking about my parents because my father just died, in May. My mother died while I was a sophomore in college. So they're a great part of who I am is because who they were. And they were art. My love of sports comes from my father. Music. My mother was a cinephile. So I'm really a product of not just my parents, but the legacy of my ancestors, So, and then a lot of my siblings work is here too, So that is my brother David's photographer. So many of his photos are here too.
What would they think of this?
They'd be proud.
Yeah.
Because it's about legacy and just keeping it going, You just gotta, everybody, every generation, let's keep it going. Go higher and higher. And I expect the same from Sal, from Jackson. I know you expect the same thing for your children too. We just want to go beyond what we've done. Let's keep it going.
And what's interesting about this too is, it's in different sections. There's very personal stuff.
Yeah, the family section is very personal. My father did the score for all my films at NYU Graduate Film School. Then She's Gonna Have It, School Days, Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues. So my siblings, it's not just me.
Yeah.
My siblings and I, we grew up in a musical household.
And there is a musicality to your work.
My father's side of the family is all his siblings, parents, grandparents, just a musical background. But what's funny is we were growing up, and my father would come in the house, and he would hear Motown and the Beatles, turn that bad music off. He was a jazz purist. I mean, we had to like, we would turn up, we would like, turn it down and put our ears right to the little transistor radio.
So how did that household kind of influence who you've become?
Just grew up. I mean, the best example, if anybody's seen Crooklyn, that's the Lee family growing up in Brooklyn, New York. So my father at one time was a go-to bassist. And so mother had to work, so she got a job at St. Anne's in Brooklyn Heights. And she supported, I'm the first of 5. So she would work all day, come home, cook, grade papers, but she had a great belief in my father's music, so she supported him. This is my father, Bill Lee. And this is a letter from the vice president giving her condolences on my father's passing. And this is my mother. It's funny. This thing here, somebody threw it out. It was right next to my office in Brooklyn. Just threw out this thing. I said, what? I could use this. So I knew I had this picture of my mother. So just had this photograph put with this. And this is my mother's mother, Mama.
Oh.
She lived to be 100. And she put me through Morehouse NYU Graduate Film School. For 50 years, she taught art and saved the Social Security check for 50 years for grandchildren's education. So I'm the oldest. I had first dibs. and that's me.
Wait. You were a cutie. Look at you. That's fantastic.
Dear Ma, that's what she called. Dear Ma and Father Lee, your grandson is here. He weighed the last night at 6 pounds and 8 ounces at 7:51 p.m. The Lee characteristics are definitely there. He looks nothing like anyone on my side of the family. He has those big, long hands, musicians, of course, like Bill's, was my father. Father Lee's coloring, or black, spiky hair.
Wait, is that where Spike came from?
No. His Spike was a tough baby, but... And wait, he's a homely little rascal right now. I love the pieces. This is Tanya and I underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. We're getting ready, it was an anniversary, and getting ready to go to River Cafe. And this is a artwork by my daughter, Satchel. She was like 5 years old, self-portrait.
That's really good.
This is him right there, too.
I remember that.
Yeah. Look at this one. Styling and profiling. A lot of attitude, huh?
Yeah. What have you talked to Satchel and Jackson, your kids, about? What have you told them about this?
A lot of stuff they had not seen because it had been in storage. But my daughter Satchel and my son Jackson, both grown, they had a little meeting with their mother, my wife, kind of like, so this is where the money's gone. It's all over now. Like.
It's up. It's out. It's out. Everybody knows. Do they like it?
Oh, they love it.
Yeah.
They love it.
Do they get a sense? I mean, look, they love you, they know you, but do they get more of a sense of who you are by looking at this?
They know, but now it's like staring them in the face. And that opening night gala, this thing was packed. And so they really saw like, and a lot of people there or from my film family, so it was like a reunion. But they know, and they also know that they got the torch is going to be handed to them. Keep this thing going. They know.
That's a lot of pressure.
They're built for it. They're built for it.
What's your legacy? What do you want your legacy to be?
The legacy is really with Satchel Jackson, because I'm not having no more kids. And just got to keep it going. And they're both artistic, doing their thing. Jackson's working for me now, 40 Acres. Satchel's in grad school in Chicago for photography. She's a great photographer. And just keep it going. Mm-hmm. Just keep it going. And we're lucky because if you can make a living doing what you love, you're blessed. Because I don't think it's an overstatement to say the majority of the people on this God's earth, good or great, have enslaved the job they hated. So, we're blessed.
There's going to be some small kid who comes in here.
How small?
Big enough so that they don't touch anything.
Right.
But some kid's going to come in here. He's going to see this. He or she's going to see this. Mm-hmm. What do you want them to take from this?
Well, I hope the parents can explain in terms their children, their young children, will understand. Just give them a little bit of history, not to get, that. Just plant little seeds. Maybe that's the thing. That maybe there's something here that they might want to. Will it be photography, sports,
politics?
One of my favorites is Shirley Chisholm, first black from Brooklyn, ran for president of the United States.
I remember. What do you want people to know about Brooklyn?
You could say that same question of what I want people to know about my films. I've always been in the mind state like people are going to get what they want from your film. So I've always let something happen, some controversy. Try to explain the film. I respect the audience's opinion, what they see, what they don't see. So I let them if that's what you got from that, cool. And I would say the same thing for this, that depending on who you are, you're going to get different responses to what are on these walls here. We're all different. Who you are is going to be reflected in what you like and dislike, or what you respond to.
Would it be safe to say that if Spike Lee hadn't grown up in Brooklyn, we would have a much different Spike Lee?
Yes, I like that. Full confession, I was not born in.
Right.
But I'm a Grady baby. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia. Moved to Brooklyn. But I would not be the person who I am if I had not grew up here in Brooklyn.
What are you most proud of, Spike?
I'll go back. Tanya. Her documentary just got nominated for an Emmy. Aftershock. She's doing her thing. Doing her creative thing. Producing documentaries. Writing. And just the Lee family. My children. So that's really, the foundation, your family.
Yeah.
That's what matters most.
As you look back, any regrets? Anything you...
there are a lot of regrets. But the funny one is that, in the summertime, I'm in Martha's Vineyard and Oaks Bluff, and the main street is Circuit Avenue. One day this guy saw me, he said, "Come here, Spike, I want to show you something." So I walked him. He opens the trunk of his car, and these ugly looking things. I said, "What is that?" He said, "They're Crocs. I want you to invest. There's a little bit of money, but I'm trying to get this thing, I said, "What are those?" We call them Crocs. I said, "I'm sorry, sir. I can't do that." Big regret. He wanted me to invest. He wasn't asking for a lot of money either. Yeah. They just looked kind of funny to me, so I passed it up.
But you did okay. Who do you think people think Spike Lee is?
Depends who you ask. That's the answer. That's the answer right there.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.